Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today's video is going to be a bit different from my past videos in the sense that it's not necessarily me giving you like factual information or my advice on a certain topic. It's just my opinion on a certain matter that I've seen or like that I have some sort of minimal experience with. When everybody goes off to college, regardless of who you are, you probably at some point have entertained the thought of maybe getting into a relationship. Now, whether a relationship is like long term, short term, that doesn't really matter. It might have just popped up in your head. And I wanted to give you my opinion on just relationships as a college student, just in general. Um, Now, I have thought, hey, why don't I get into a relationship with a girl and why don't I just, see how things go? But I've sort of come to the conclusion that I don't really want to spend that much time chasing something like a relationship. Um, I would rather just spend the time I have right now working on myself and improving myself just so I can maybe get to a stage where I attract those things. I don't necessarily need to chase them. Um, and that's, I mean, it's not necessarily my advice, but if anybody were to come to me, like saying, hey, I've been thinking, I feel kind of lonely, I kind of want some advice on this, do you think I should get into a relationship? My answer would be no, because I'm not necessarily sure at this age, like you're probably somewhere between the age of 18 to 22. Um, and everyone's prone to feeling lonely, especially when you're not close to home. Like I know a lot of my friends uh, are from Dubai, and they're either in the UK or the US or abroad for further education. And when you don't have a close circle of friends, which I'm hoping they do, but if you don't have a close circle of friends in your proximity, it's natural to feel lonely. And that feeling of loneliness, that feeling like that discomfort that loneliness gives you, it's not a nice feeling, and I can relate to that. But what I've learned, if there's anything I've learned, it's that the quickest and easiest solution to something is not necessarily the best. So you're feeling lonely, you feel, hey, a relationship makes the most sense because I get someone who's always going to be there for me, who's going to love me for who I am, and who just appreciates me in general. But if the only reason you're getting into a relationship is because you don't want to feel lonely, that's just like a foundational issue with the relationship, because that's gonna alter your perception of your partner. So let's say you are a guy and you are looking for a relationship because you feel lonely. Once you are in a relationship, you will continue to see your partner as someone who gives you that affection, who gives you that source of like happiness. And you see them as sort of like an extension of yourself, which, I mean, truth be told, I have done that. And it's not healthy. It's just not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is, so that's the easier path to do it. Like, obviously, you're going to find someone who finds you attractive, who thinks you're a good person, and is willing to be in a relationship with you. But that's the easier way to do things. Like, you might think, oh, but hey, I don't think I'm that attractive. I mean, I'm not going to attract that many people of the opposite gender or the gender that I'm attracted to. Um, it's just what you're saying doesn't make sense. And to you, it might not, but there are people who have been or will be attracted to you at some point. Like, you're not that ugly. Um, but yeah, I just think that right now, right, you are at the age of, like, I think from ages, but since you're from the time you're born up until maybe like 22, 24 ish, you are quite an impressionable person. You are still like vulnerable to change, and you can still have experiences that change you. That can even happen like after the age of 24. Like if you have like a life changing experience that changes who you are fundamentally, and getting into a relationship does change you fundamentally. It changes who you want to be, it changes who you are, because you always have that one person that gives you their input on something. And just holistically, right? If you're someone that hasn't focused on themselves for an extended period of time, so take me for example. I, from the ages of like, since I was in the seventh grade up until, well, up until the time I got a girlfriend, I had been someone that was always constantly chasing a relationship. And the reason why I told myself I was looking for a relationship was because, oh, I have so much love to give. I'm just this loving, caring person. Why won't anyone just, be there for me? And there you have it. I was looking for someone who would be there for me because I was lonely. And I'm reiterating my point, but do not get into a relationship if you are lonely. Like that is, if there's one takeaway you take from this video, do not get into a relationship because you are lonely. It's not easy, trust me. Loneliness isn't an easy thing to overcome, but you are much, much better off just working on yourself physically, emotionally, in all wellness dimensions. If you don't know what wellness dimensions are, I'll probably leave a link down below, just you can read it and like come up with your own opinions on what you want your wellness level to be. But like, I've been in that position where I wanted a relationship because I was just lonely, and I came out of that relationship knowing that it wasn't my loneliness that needed fixing. It was more my self-esteem. People who are lonely are most likely suffering from a lack of self-esteem, like I was. I looked at myself and I thought, yes, I'm this overweight kid who is average at academics and doesn't have much else going for him. And I just, when I looked at that, I was like, that's like literally the breeding ground for a poor self-esteem. And so far, I mean, ever since getting out of my relationship, I have been working on my self-esteem, and I've been working on viewing myself in a positive light. And that's what I'd encourage a lot of us, a lot of you people watching the video, to do. I know it's not easy to say, yeah, I don't feel the need to have that like accompaniment or that like presence in my life that I can like depend on for when I feel that way. But you would be much, much better off just putting in effort and looking at like trying to view yourself as a good person that you like. Okay, so just to give you guys some context, I'm filming this part of the video like a couple of weeks later, hence why my hair's grown out a bit and my beard looks different. But essentially what I was trying to say, or what I'm trying to reiterate now, is getting into a relationship at this stage of your life where you are a college student, or I'm assuming you are if you're watching this. It takes away from time. Like when you get into a relationship, that is basically some like avenue of your life where you invest time, money, effort, and other things. But in this like stage of your life, when you're in that kind of middle ground between like high school and like getting a job, well, that's essentially what college is. It's like getting you ready for a job in the real world, and just like getting you ready for the real world and like meeting people and stuff. In this phase of your life, investing in yourself is the best thing that you can do, because when you invest in yourself, you make yourself more appealing to potential employers. And maybe even like when you invest in yourself, you feel like you're in a good position to maybe start your own business, or make like an enterprise of some sort. I don't know. But right now, in this stage of your life, when you've graduated from high school, I'd say the best thing to do would probably be just invest in yourself, because when you do that, you start to like picture where you want to be in a certain amount of time. So like you start working on yourself now and you think, yes, I'm getting some momentum, and then you start picturing yourself like what can you do, like what is your potential. And that's essentially what self-improvement is. It's like you work on yourself now to try and get to your potential and get to as close to it as possible. And by doing that, like you gotta answer that lifelong question that you have is like, what can you do if you reach your potential? And while I'm not like advising against relationships as a whole, I'm just saying now isn't the best time. Like getting to a relationship in your like late teens or like early 20s isn't the it is, in my opinion, is not the way to go. um I wouldn't even recommend like casual relationships, because even though you want that sort of validation from like a short-term partner, it's generally just not productive and kind of a waste of time, in my opinion. You could have your own opinion, but I'm just stating mine. But yeah, I know this is kind of a different video to my previous ones, but let me know what you guys think. I will be leaving a link to the wellness dimensions below, um, so you can form your own opinion about it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.